All year, we've been going left. You know, if you were making a right turn, you'd be in the wall. You don't want to do that. However, today at Portland, we have our first road course race of the year. You gotta master the left and you gotta master the right. And if you can put it all together, you can come out a race winner. It's gonna be a tough race for all of these drivers. It is the Nike 150. It's all part of the DPORL Cup Series 2024. Hello everybody, this is Drew Webb, or That DP Guy, and welcome to the 11th race of the 2024 DPORL Cup Series season. We're here for our first and only road course race of the season at Portland International Raceway. How about that? I've always loved Portland, and especially when the Xfinity cars in real life started coming there. I mean, that was some fantastic stuff. So I'm excited to bring the DPORL Cup Series here, and, you know, maybe it'll be a straightforward race. You know, last few races haven't been very straightforward, but we might finally get a race in where we get a nice clean winner, kind of like Martinsville, you know, because we've had some absolutely wild ones recently. But for now, we're going to go ahead and go down and get the command to fire engines in Portland.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there we go. The command has been given. And now all 40 drivers roll off. And with all 40 drivers rolling off, and I will make sure that everybody is off. And dang, that pace car is flying around there. Let's get to your starting lineup for the Nike 150. On pole, it's Leonard Koksmar in the 10. How about that? Hasn't had great qualifying runs recently and has ran pretty mid-pack, but a pole position here could change things around. Eric Monaco in second position right there. You can see Bryce Egan is starting third. Good starting spot for Egan. Matthew Hubert starting fourth in the 36. In fifth place, starting fifth, is Ryan Durrani in the 21, coming off a win last week. And Brandon Rose in the 77. In row number 4, starting 7th, is the 31 of Blaine Keys and our championship leader, Lucien Bianchi. And in row 5, Wyatt O'Connor is starting 10th, but starting 9th is Aaron Abel in the 1 machine. And now that we've taken a look at our starting 10 spots, or our top 10 starting spots, you saw the field scroll on the left side of your screen. Let's get to your race info real quick. 26 laps here at Portland. A fairly short race. You know, it's not going to last real long. So these drivers have got to make moves right away. 51 miles. No fuel window. Should be able to make it to the end. And for that reason, don't pit if you value winning. Come on now. Please don't pit. That would be disastrous in this race, but you know what? This racing will not be disastrous. It'll be quite fun, in fact, and the pace car has pulled off. Made that turn onto pit road. And Koksmar going to lead the field to green at Portland. And through the first chicane, it's going to be Koksmar maintaining the lead over Eric Monaco, with Bryce Egan slotting in third. A fairly straightforward start. As always with road courses, with a lot of these NR series, no cautions because, you know, that kind of gets weird at road courses. And it's just pretty tedious, but that beautiful number 10 Under Armour machine out front. And how about this for that 10 team? You know, like I said, ran pretty mediocre through the middle stretch of the season after a decent start. But, you know, I mean, to gain control of this race is absolutely crucial. It's going to be very hard to make a pass for the lead. You can see Monaco second, There's Bryce Egan, 3rd, Hubert 4th, Durrani 5th, Brandon Rose 6th, Blaine Keys 7th, Lucian Bianchi 8th, Aaron Abel 9th, and Wyatt O'Connor 10th as we come to the end of lap number 1. And we've still got some battles farther back in the pack. There's Bradley Ream and Ludovic Charette going at it as all these cars fly under the bridge. Here's your bridge cam. I think that's pretty cool right there. And Ludovic Charette does get by Bradley Ream as Skylar Taylor launches it to the inside. Daniel Voiles also working on a move, and Lucian Bianchi looking for a move on Blaine Keys. So there we go. Nice pass made by our championship leader as he runs just a little bit wide. Everything okay there. You can see the 10 continuing to pull away just a little bit from Eric Monaco. But, you know, Monaco could launch a charge at this race lead at any moment, really. Off the back of the pack, it's Jonathan Carrison in the 88, who is currently 40th. Must have gotten passed recently. Carrison was 35th. Starting lap 2, if I can get that word out. Oh my goodness. Angel Gutierrez is back here, same with Igor Barreto. There's Laura Chung bringing out the back of the pack. Zach Magoon with some pretty significant rear end damage. Look at this, big old stack up at the back of the pack. Barreto's going to get to the inside of Laura Chung because of it. We're heading back up towards the front of the pack. Let's see what's going on again. Monaco taking a little bit of a wider line, but that's going to benefit just a bit as Koksmar continues to pull just ever so slightly away every single corner. You know, the 10 seems to be the fastest car on track. You know, Bryce Egan is starting to look a little bit closer on Eric Monaco. So we could potentially see a move brewing there. And you know, it does take a while to try and set up a pass, especially when the field starts to get strung out. So, you know, you really got to work at getting closer and closer and closer, and then eventually you can finally get there and try and make that move. And some of these drivers are going to be very, very desperate today. I'd imagine that some drivers would really want to use the bumper to get by, especially late in the race. Top 5 continues to be Koksmar, Monaco, Egan, Hubert, and Durrani. And I got to switch off this camera right here. My goodness, I can't do the bridge cam every single lap. Let's get us an alternate perspective right here on Bryce Egan navigating the chicane. It's a pretty tough one, and honestly in the game, the outside is probably the better line here. Which is interesting for sure. I mean, it does help massively on exit. Let's take a look at some of these cars going by. Let's see, side-by-side battle there. Justin Henley, Benny Watson. Let's see, what position is that for? We're looking outside. Oh, well, actually, yeah. Outside the top 20 for the time being. Further back, we're single filed out. Everybody just maintaining position as this 10 continues to pull away from Eric Monaco. And now we wait. You know, one of these drivers is going to make a charge at the end of this race. And when that happens, you know, all of these drivers are going to be sweating pretty heavily. I mean, it's going to be a tight battle to the finish. But right now, we're setting up to it. Let's see, Monaco lost just a bit that time. Bryce Egan once again trying to close on Monaco, but I don't think that's a good line to take. Was very, very tight in the chicane instead of running just a little bit wider, and that's going to hurt, as you can see on exit. A very technical racetrack. You really have to hit your marks. Otherwise, you know, these drivers could be right on you if you miss them badly. And especially don't discount the possibility that some of these drivers could be forced onto the grass, and that could have disastrous consequences, especially when rejoining. Let's make sure that nobody has crashed yet. Looks like everybody is all good. Jonathan Carrison sitting now 20 seconds back after just 4 laps because it updated at the end of lap 4, going on to lap 5. That is a massive deficit at this point. Cooksmar continuing to just ride the wave of momentum to start this race. Looks like that gap, let's see, this time is going to be, oh yeah, going to widen significantly, 1.5 seconds. Wow. You can really see who our road course ace was. But that 10 team has been hidden in all these oval races to start the year. So you know what? This is actually a good transition segment for the question of the week this week. But let's go ahead and look at the question of the week for last week real quick. Who's got the momentum to challenge Lucien Bianchi at the top of the standings? You all voted for Benny Watson. You know, Watson's had some very strong runs, but, you know, got to watch the consistency. Maybe not the most consistent driver in the world like Lucien Bianchi. And now going to the question of the week, I know what the answer for Cokesmar is going to be. How many road courses would you like to see on next year's schedule? And the way this 10 team is running, I think I'd say 3 plus for sure. But the options for you all to vote on are 0, 1, 2, or 3 plus. How many road courses do you like to see on next year's schedule? Go ahead and get your vote in, and you know, I could take this into account. I could add some more. You know, I'm looking at some more, so we'll just have to see. Get that vote in, and you know, who knows? Maybe your opinion will actually matter. Whoa, I know. Crazy concept in this world. But either way, Eric Monaco had closed the gap just a little bit that time by about 0.3 of a second. Everybody really spaced out at this point. Nobody really challenging any part of this pack. There's Nathan Ormond trying to make a move on Skylar Taylor, but I believe this 96 is going to be safe for now. Let's watch though. Can Ormond get by? Let's see. No, looks like Skylar Taylor's going to pull away down the front stretch ever so slightly. They got a better run off the corner. So that's going to settle down for now. Heading back even further. Here we go. Logan Williams, Jack Haas going at it. That'll be for 25th place. I mean, it's farther back in the pack, but you know, each point does matter in this championship battle. So if you can make a pass, you know, could be a big factor by the end of the year. You know, we'll see if it actually is. But definitely a possibility at this point. As everybody roaring by, those engines so loud at this point. Here we go, Dylan Matthews, Caleb Rose tried to go at it there, and here's Ormond and Ludovic Charette. So, you know, Ludovic Charette in this 11 machine has been making moves this race. So, you know, one of the few that's been able to try and move up through the field. So once again, probably one of our more skilled road course aces that we just haven't been able to see due to the lack of road courses on this schedule. Further up, and we have some pretty darn big separation. Looks like Monaco has gapped Egan, or Cokesmar has gapped Monaco by a significant margin as we come to the line. I think the gap was about the same, but we'll go ahead and check it out. Let's see. At the line, it is, well, you know, a little bit closer. So Eric Monaco may be launching a bit of a charge again as Egan looked inside into the chicane there. Interesting line. But let's see how it works on exit. Yeah, nothing really there for the moment. I always love watching this chicane, especially on entry and exit. You know, kind of the best opportunity for these drivers to try and make moves. Here we go. Justin Henley to the inside of Samad Ozkin, but that's not going to work. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Here we go. Justin Henley trying to make it work. Still has the inside at the moment. But then Ozkin has the inside right there, and Ozkin will maintain the position as Benny Watson looks on behind. Once again, our top 10 remaining very, very similar to how this race started. No major changes at this point. But, you know, anything can happen. I mean, we've seen wilder in this series for sure. Let's check the gap at the line this time. Okay, starting to spread back out just ever so slightly again as we've hit lap 10 of 26. A very straightforward race at the moment, as Angel Gutierrez is now in last, 25 seconds back, but we'll see if that updates. I believe Carrison was last, if I'm not blind. Maybe I was blind, I don't know. No, Carrison was last at the line there. So still battling even at the back of the pack, but at the front of the pack, not really being contended that much. I mean, the closest battle, you know, I mean, still probably half a second apart at the front of the pack. It is getting a little bit dicey right in here, you know, where drivers are a little bit closer and maybe looking for moves. I mean, Caleb Holloway certainly within striking distance on Logan Williams. I could definitely see a move being made, you know, in the coming lap here, but you really just have to set up for it, you know. You can't just jump in there and expect to make a move. So let's see, in the hard braking zone, Holloway maintains a pretty close gap, pretty small gap, but it's all about the exit off the final corner and trying to set up for turn one. Let's see farther up in the pack how these drivers are handling turn one. Everybody handling the opening chicane pretty well. Once again, look out for Ludovic Charette, just slowly gaining time, and now gaining on Skylar Taylor. So we'll have to see if maybe, like, once again, in the next few laps, Ludovic Charette could be challenging for those positions. That would be for 13th position. Maybe, just maybe, by the end of this race, Ludovic Charette could be challenging for a top 10 spot. Once again, we're going to have to look farther back for any sort of challenge for any position. Let's see, there's Alexandre Vital and Kyler Sustry, maybe setting up for a potential battle here. A little bit closer than, you know, the average gap between some of these cars. Nothing going to happen right there. But the 41 does stay close. And once again, all that matters is the exit. You've got to get a good exit into these long straightaways because you can get a great run into the braking zone. But unfortunately, I just don't believe that's happening. And we got a big old train forming. I mean, that is a big, big train. Wow. And Jonathan Carrison is at the back of it, officially registering 28.97 seconds off the pace. So looking at paces at the moment, honestly, I don't think we're going to have any problems with lap traffic. I think everything will be all right there. So I guess we're just going to be smooth sailing. As Leonard Koksmar in the 10 has just checked out. Bryce Egan's keeping it close on Eric Monaco, but Koksmar, you know, sitting real pretty right now, but just cannot have any issues in the later stages of this event. And you know who I think is going to benefit from all of this if the running order stays the same? I really think Ryan Durrani is going to benefit, only a couple positions ahead of Lucien Bianchi, but Durrani has been gaining in the championship and maybe making that late season charge or back half of the season charge for a potential championship. We'll just have to see what the 21 can do. We got a bunch of different tracks coming up. I'm especially looking forward to the Kansas doubleheader. That's going to be absolutely wild. You know how wild some of those Kansas tracks are in NR 2003, so that'll be pretty darn chaotic, but not as chaotic as Irwindale. I'm telling you, I will never make anything as chaotic as Irwindale again. That was rough. That was very rough. But luckily we're out of that for the moment. And once again, everybody just very, very straightforward. Not a whole lot to talk about. Let's see, let's take a look at some movements from starting position. So Eric Monaco, Leonard Koksmar, Bryce Egan, Matthew Hubert, Ryan Durrani, Brandon Rose, all maintaining their starting position. Lucien Bianchi has gained a spot, and Blaine Keys has lost a spot. Aaron Abel, Wyatt O'Connor, all in their starting positions. Daniel Voiles is up 2 at the moment. That's notable for Voiles. RJ Beers is down 1. I think Nathan Ormond is down a couple. Ludovic Charette started 16th and is now up to 14th, so that's +2 right there. Yeah, Ormond is now down 3. Caleb Rose is down 1. Dylan Matthews is up 4, so big mover there. Bradley Reams down just a little bit. Alex Smith has maintained position. Samad Ozkin has lost 2. And I know you don't want me to go through the whole field there because you'd be bored. You're probably already bored watching this. But, you know, I had a feeling that none of you really wanted the chaos of Irwindale again. Just wanted to have one of those races that just clicked off, everything went nicely, and we can all move on and enjoy the rest of the season rather than just whatever that race was. Let's see what Benny Watson can do. You know, this battle is heating up. This is for 21st. And, you know, I think Watson is just a little bit faster than Justin Henley. Let's see what Watson does into the braking zone. Goes outside just a bit, just barely peeking outside. Look at this, look at this. We got to move to the inside. Henley got a better exit off the corner. So there was a peak, but just did not quite work out for Benny Watson. Now Watson falls off the 52. Back up further through the field. This battle's heating up. This is for 9th. Wyatt O'Connor, Aaron Abel could be going at it pretty soon. Daniel Voiles, you know, maybe could get into that picture and maybe battle for a top 10 in this race. Let's watch Wyatt O'Connor and Aaron Abel. Abel gets a good line, just very solid, very steady. And Wyatt O'Connor just has to follow for the moment. Off the final corner, Abel gets a nice run. And you know, that is a pretty significant gap from Blaine Keys in the 31 to Aaron Abel in the 1. We're really starting to spread out just a bit. Let's see. Here we go. This could be a battle. Alex Smith and Bradley Ream. Smith right on the bumper of Bradley Ream. And Alex Smith just going to hold it around the corner. Here we go to the inside. Alex Smith in the 27 took a peek. Didn't quite get there, but still all over the bumper of the 6. And here we go. Benny Watson making a pass on Justin Henley. Watson has the inside. Can he clear? Not quite. And the 52 gets back to the inside. And unfortunately for Watson, it's going to be very, very tough to maintain positioning. But these two going at it. Wow. Best battle of the race so far results in Justin Henley maintaining position. Although they fell back pretty extensively from Samad Ozkin. I think this RJ Beers, Skylar Taylor, Ludovic Charette battle could heat up pretty soon. We'll have to wait on it. But once again, I think Ludovic Charette is faster. But it's just so hard to make a move. Here comes the 11. Skylar Taylor got a good entry. Will Ludovic Charette get a good exit? That is the question. Actually, Charette got a pretty decent exit, but it's not going to really do anything right there. Taylor was able to pull away, but RJ Beers especially was able to pull away as the gap is now closing just a bit at the front of the field. 1.12 seconds for Koksmar in this 10 machine. So maybe not so comfortable, or maybe just managing tires for the moment. Don't want to use up everything right now. Let's take a look at the tire wear currently just to see. Yeah, we're about 1.5 seconds slower. So, you know, just don't want to chew the tires up too much and really start falling back later in the run. So everybody making it out of the final corner. Monaco is visibly closer. But let's see the gap this time. Exactly 1 second. So Monaco just creeping into the picture. And we could have a 2-car battle for this win, and maybe even Bryce Egan could get in there. That would make things real interesting if Egan could join in. And honestly, everyone is really closing in to this lead. So, you know, maybe by the end of this run, the whole field could really come together on each other, and that would result in some much more exciting racing. We'll just have to see if the 10 can recover this time around, or will Monaco continue to be ever so slightly faster? Working way down the long curved straightaway, you know. You call it a straightaway, but it's not real straight. And into the turns. I know that wasn't very specific. The turns, what am I saying? I don't know. You know, it's late at night. I'm trying here. But Koksmar, once again, gonna lead this lap. Has led every lap so far in this event. And this time, it is by 1.28 seconds. So Monaco loses a little bit of time this time. So maybe it is some tire management coming into play. Can't get a real good read on what the 10 is doing. Let's look further back. You know, Ryan Durrani is closing on Matthew Hubert for the 4th position. Hubert's had a very, very quiet day, but has just been able to maintain 4th place very, very nicely. And Lucien Bianchi, of course, lurks in the distance on Brandon Rose. Voiles has really closed in on Wyatt O'Connor and Aaron Abel. There's RJ Beers, there's Skylar Taylor, there's Ludovic Charette. Things remain unchanged, and Charette seems to have lost the early advantage. Bradley Ream, Alex Smith, there's Oskin, Henley, Watson, Kensington, Jack Haas. Let's see, where's Haas running? 25th, that is up 4 spots, so that's pretty significant. You can see Griders right there, Logan Williams, Caleb Holloway. This will be a little interesting. Caleb Holloway is a little bit closer. But can Holloway make it stick and get a good run? That's all that matters. Here we go. Holloway does get a relatively decent exit, so you know, we could see something into turn 1. Here we go. Let's see it. Logan Williams in front. Caleb Holloway right behind. Holloway wanted to peak. Couldn't quite get there. But off the corner. Holloway not able to get a good exit. So unfortunately for Caleb Holloway, he'll maintain position. Tightening up back here for sure. Lots of cars right there. And Jonathan Carrison still in last place, 32 seconds off the lead. Yeah, now Koksmar starting to stretch out just a bit, and really the top 4 starting to gap Durrani again. And after Blaine Keys, we have a pretty big gap to Aaron Abel, but Aaron Abel has gapped Wyatt O'Connor just a bit, so maybe managing those tires a little bit better than the 00. Here we go. This is tight right here. Skylar Taylor and RJ Beers. Watch out for this battle. At 96, really got a good exit. Here we go. Skylar Taylor all over the back. Not going to make a move this time. Once again, you got to watch that exit. And it really did not work out for the 96. So, unfortunately, nothing there. And everybody just holds firm in their position. Alex Smith wanted to look to the inside, but couldn't quite get there. Let's continue to watch this battle between Smith and Ream. Bradley Ream, who is second in the championship, is bound to lose points to Lucien Bianchi this week, and that's not what this 6 wanted. It's not what the rest of the field wanted, because it's just so tough to gain points on a driver so consistent like Lucien Bianchi. And 7th place points, I mean, that is a lot of points, especially compared to drivers finishing outside the top 20. Further up through the field, let's take a look again. Here we go, Ryan Durrani and Brandon Rose gonna go at it again. As actually Egan's closed on Monaco. Here we go, we gotta move to the inside. Ho-ho! Are we actually gonna have a pass? A true pass? It's a miracle. Brandon Rose is going to make the move on Ryan Durrani. How about that? So late into this run, drivers starting to make moves. As we've hit 5 laps to go in this event. And now Koksmar out to a 2-second lead over Eric Monaco. Nice move from Brandon Rose to move into the top 5. Now Lucien Bianchi's right there. You got Blaine Keys peeking. And Aaron Abel in the 1. Just very, very steady in 9th place. Wow, well, I'm glad we got to see a pass live, you know. Passes are hard to come by at road courses. You really got to set them up. And that was a real good setup by Brandon Rose to make the move. Let's continue to watch this battle. Let's see if Ryan Durrani continues to fall back. Here we go. On to the front straightaway. Bianchi is behind Ryan Durrani, but I don't believe any move's going to be made here. Just a little too far back to make a move. Let's see. Through the chicane. Durrani pulls away just a bit. Let's watch through this chicane what moves drivers are making. Skylar Taylor wanted to peek inside, couldn't do it. Dylan Matthews has gapped Bradley Ream. Here we go. Ream was wide. Alex Smith not quite able to capitalize. Wow. So just not quite able to get there. And look at this mess. I mean, all these cars right there back in the pack, not really able to make any moves. Just not making their way through the pack effectively. And so back up front, Leonard Koksmar just continuing to maintain that gap. And that's all this 10 needs. Now what could ruin that is an unscheduled pit stop. And, you know, I don't want to jinx it, but, you know, we've seen a lot of wild races, you know, especially in the DPORL Cup Series with, you know, unexpected mechanical failures and unexpected pit stops. So, you know, hopefully that doesn't transfer over here for the 10. But, you know, just keep that in the back of your mind. It's not over until it is indeed over. We have just 3 laps to go from Portland. Laps just continuing to tick by. It's going to be a very, very straightforward event. You know, the 10 just kind of got out front and hasn't relinquished the lead. Just very steady and consistent. And, you know, everything's just working out exactly as needed right now. Monaco. I don't think Eric Monaco is going to be able to do much. I do think that Matthew Hubert has a shot at Bryce Egan. But it's really only going to be one chance. And it's going to have to come pretty soon. Further back. Yeah, looks like we're starting to space out just a bit. Aaron Abel continues to try and eat into Blaine Keys. And once again, RJ Beers and Skylar Taylor have been right on each other all race. I feel like this is going to be the fun battle to the finish. Unfortunately, it's not for the lead, but Skylar Taylor going to try and pass RJ Beers. Get a few extra points on that position. Maybe just a couple. It's outside the top 10. Here we go. No move being made yet. Taylor not going to get the greatest of exits, and once again, RJ Beers will maintain the position. So Beers continuing to hold on. The gap is under 2 seconds at the front. But you know what? I think it's time for this 10 machine to win a race. I'm telling you, it's been a long time coming. And what a thrill it would be. And it would be another first-time winner on the channel. You know, we're getting a lot of first-time winners this year, obviously, because it's the first season. But we haven't had too many repeat winners to this point. So that's very exciting. You know, lots of drivers able to go through the thrill of getting their first career win. You know, for Leonard Kochsmar in the 10, it's going to be the white flag. Just 1 lap to go from Portland. Eric Monaco ate into that gap, you know, decently, but not going to be close to enough. And so, could the Under Armour car win in the Nike 150? What a win that would be in the Sneaker Wars. Let's see if every corner can be navigated to perfection. You know, Kochsmar doesn't need perfection through here, just needs a decent corner, every corner, no mistakes, don't run into the grass, and everything will work out just fine. And wow, I mean, I cannot believe it. With just a few corners to go, we're going to have another first-time winner. And this is going to change the points, you know, a decent amount. Maybe not at the front necessarily, but, you know, a lot of shuffling still going on mid-pack. And this will definitely shuffle the order mid-pack a bit. Here we go, off the final corner and to the checkered flag. How about this for Leonard Kochsmar? First career win on the channel at Portland. How about that? There we go. That new paint scheme paid off. It was pretty darn fast, I gotta say. I know you thought the original or the second paint scheme was cursed. Well, you know, you might have been right, because as soon as you swap paint schemes to this new scheme, it has been fantastic since then. You know, at least in qualifying position, and now a dominant performance from start to finish. Never even gave Eric Monaco a chance. Wow. Great run, great race, and a very straightforward race. You know, we did not have any wrecks, any incidents. Jonathan Carrison finished last, 37 seconds off the pace. And, you know, nothing indicating that anything bad happened. I mean, a little bit of bumper damage, I believe, for the 12, but that was really it. And so with that, let's go ahead and review your finishing results from Portland. Leonard Kochsmar with the win, and Eric Monaco finishing second. Another great run for Eric Monaco, and Bryce Egan building momentum. Very nice run for Egan. Matthew Hubert gets fourth. Brandon Rose gets that top 5 after that nice pass on Ryan Durrani, who finished 6th. Lucien Bianchi will continue to have a nice championship cushion after finishing in 7th. Blaine Keys, nice run in 8th. Aaron Abel maintains 9th, and Wyatt O'Connor does get 10th place. Daniel Voiles right outside the top 10. Good run for Daniel. RJ Beers, nice turnaround to get 12th and just have a solid day after a couple days of disaster for the 19. There's Skylar Taylor. Good run for Taylor in the 96. Ludovic Charette looked strong early but wasn't able to really capitalize. Now there's Caleb Rose in 16th. Dylan Matthews, another solid run in 17th. Bradley Ream, who was second in points, finishes 18th, and that's going to hurt a lot, especially battling Lucien Bianchi, who finishes 7th again in just an unbelievably consistent year. Benny Watson, 22nd. That's not going to help. Logan Williams, 26th. That's also not going to help. You know, lots of drivers down there that shouldn't be down there. And unfortunately, that's going to hurt them in the championship standings. And Bianchi might be walking out of here with an even larger advantage. So we'll just have to see if anyone can eat into that advantage throughout the rest of the year. So how about that? Nice, clean race from Portland. I'm so glad we could get this in and bring it to you. And, you know, next week we move on, and it'll be another good race as always. Maybe another straightforward one, maybe another chaotic one. You just never know in the DPORL Cup Series. Next week, of course, is at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm very excited for this one. It's a track that I've won at in the Wawa Cup Series, and I absolutely just love it in general. I'm going there for the Brickyard 400 this year in real life. So, gonna be a nice one, and I'm gonna really enjoy covering that one. I'm gonna try and make it special. I'm gonna try and make it one of our DPORL crown jewels. So expect, better coverage, more sophisticated coverage, if you will, and it'll be a fun one. It'll be a real fun one to cover. Might even have a special qualifying session. We'll see. We'll just see how it is. And that's it for this one. Congrats to winner Koksmar on the win. And thank you all for watching so much. We are going to go ahead and get the point standings for you. That is it from Portland. This is Drew Webb, or That DP Guy, signing off.